Hey everyone, it's Stephanie, and you are tuned into the review of Happily Ever After Season 1. So, I was really excited to see this show. I really enjoyed it. It is the three couples from the past, Shawniece and Jephte. I don't remember the seasons, guys, but these couples are recent. Shawniece and Jephte, Anthony and Ashley, which was the season before Shawniece and Jephte, I believe. And then we have Danielle and Bobby, who we just saw recently on season 7. So we find them all married and all expecting. So all the women are pregnant, and we actually found out through an article, I don't know if you guys saw that, they posted it last night after the show aired. They're all having girls. So it's actually funny to see that because Danielle and Bobby were adamant about really wanting a boy, and so they got a girl. Ashley and Anthony are having a girl, and then we found out on the show, and we also have known that Shawniece and Jephte had a girl. So we find them, at various stages in their pregnancy, various stages in their marriage, and we kind of catch up with them, which is really cool because it feels like old friends again, because a lot of these couples are very likable, and we get to see how they're doing. Married at First Sight, I think, gets a bad rap for all the couples that don't work out, but I think compared to the number of couples that haven't been working out, especially recently, we're getting more good stories. It's definitely still not more. The number of couples working out is still not, higher than the ones not, but it's just good to see the ones that are and are kind of like moving along and creating families. I know some people were talking about the fact that they felt like some of these couples moved too quickly and, expanded their families too quickly. And, I don't reserve any judgment on that just because a lot of people do that in life. People meet, they fall in love, they have kids, and there really is no time frame. I think the reason for the apprehension for certain people is because, these people met at the altar, but life happens. People meet in different ways and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty cool. I'm glad to see them kind of moving forward. We get a real idea about what's been happening. So all of the couples, two of the couples, Shawniece and Jephte, Ashley and Anthony, definitely said that they really struggled after the cameras went off. And that's understandable because without cameras in a new marriage, you will struggle. I mean, it's tough sometimes, building and merging two lives together, two people who have done whatever they wanted for however they wanted, and now you have to really compromise. And although we say that's, of course I have to compromise, that's not always the easiest things to do. We have varying perspectives, we have different things that we like, and, sometimes it does get really tough. So that's with any couple. So basically we see, Ashley and Anthony talk about the fact that they still kind of continue to struggle, where Anthony feels like he doesn't want to share information that he doesn't have. She feels like he's withholding information and that she can handle the fact that he doesn't have information. But from his perspective, she grills him. And she may not see that, and he may not see that, okay, maybe you just need to give her what she wants and leave it at that and say, I don't have any more information, don't grill me. So we see them continuing to build their relationship and build their communication, and Dr. Pepper, I believe, visited them. And it was just good to catch up and watch them. Anthony and Ashley have been together for about 2 years, and they both wanted a family. And so it was good to kind of see them move forward and enjoy each other. And the guys split off so the premise is that they kind of are all going through this process, but they do get together, which I love. I know that some people are like, they don't really like that, but I think for this, particular experiment, because so many people don't get it, and most people won't get it, of course, because most people don't do that, I think that they really do find solace in being able to have this discussion and community of people who understand what they're going through. So the ladies, all the couples get to go to this resort for the weekend, and the ladies are in the spa, the guys go to the water, and they're just kind of talking about things. The resounding theme is, the continued perfect delivery that Bobby and Danielle continue to have. Pastor Cal visited Bobby and Danielle, and they still are kind of like, we haven't had any arguments. We're still, 10 out of 10. They rate each other at one sitting. they're still a 10 out of 10. You know, I don't really even want to give that too much energy, because I feel like they'll get to where they'll get to whenever they get to it. If they're a 10 out of 10, then let them be a 10 out of 10. Like, my thinking that that's not realistic is, or everyone else's, is whether it's validating for us or not. It doesn't really change that that's where they feel like they are. I don't think that they're both being, honest 24/7, but they are where they are. That type of presentation though rubs people the wrong way, because it continues that Danielle wants to be in the conversation of what's going on with other people's relationships, but she still doesn't want to share. And you can see Shawniece and Ashley kind of link up and have a natural disposition towards each other, where they get along and they're like girls, and we kind of see Danielle off to the side, even though she was getting her nails done. But I thought it was interesting to see that she was kind of like odd man out or odd woman out, kind of, just talking about stuff. And I can see that Ashley even says at one point in the episode, well, anybody who says their relationship is perfect, I call BS. But she said BS. And, I like Ashley because she's real, and I think she said what everybody's thinking. And it'll be interesting to just see the dynamic between the women and between the couples as life changes. I think, as a couple without children, you can control a lot more. And when you start moving in that direction, even when you're pregnant prior to even having a child, things are out of your control. And so you have to kind of now get used to things that are out of your control, i.e. sex. They talked about that a lot last night, how their sex drives have changed, or, they might want to, but they're not feeling well. And so now, their husband doesn't know what to do. So there's a lot of things that are happening, and I think that will develop everybody's relationship, but most specifically Bobby and Danielle's. A, they're the newest of the bunch. They've been married for 6 months. And B, that type of experience will force them to let go of the shell that they carry, because I think that they're still in their own shells even within their marriage. And I think as you're together long enough, you just get comfortable, and that's it. So that's that. We see Shawniece and Jephte really struggle. I'm so glad that they're still together. I really hope they work it out. I think that I love seeing the experts really hands-on. In the first episode, it was like they were everywhere with these new couples, really kind of checking in, taking the temperature, and helping them work through the kinks, which is like what I'd love to see more of Married at First Sight, because I think they've just been way too hands-off. No experts aren't realistically in a normal marriage, but this isn't a normal marriage, so I think they need a lot more guidance. So I love seeing that in Happily Ever After. And we see that, Jephte kind of talked about that, the fact that he read a lot of comments. He probably got caught up in a lot of what social media was saying. And even though we like to say, oh, it's no big deal, or I wouldn't, or I don't care what people think, I think when you put yourself in the limelight, it can be very overwhelming, especially if you take to heart what people are saying. So it sounded to me like he had some sort of mental breakdown, to where he just really couldn't handle it. And so the marriage suffers because of that. I think their dynamic suffered because of that, and I'm sure other things were going on, but he definitely admitted to kind of struggling with that and shutting her out and not feeling like he could talk to her. And she got emotional because she said, I want you to be able to talk to me. And there was probably some sort of breakdown with communication and just who they are. You have this 8-week experience thrown at you, or you throw yourself into it. It's a lot, and you have these cameras, and now the cameras are gone. And what I believe happens is that the cameras over time become like a source of comfort, even though most people would probably think it's annoying. But I think you always have somebody there for the most part, with the exception of like in the bedroom at night. So they probably got comfortable with that dynamic, and now the training wheels are off because the cameras aren't even on, or the cameras aren't even here. So all three couples, I think, probably struggled a little bit, but mostly we see Shawniece and Jephte, and we see Ashley and Anthony. Danielle and Bobby are still kind of Danielle and Bobby for now. Hopefully we'll see some personality throughout the season, just because, you're on TV. So it's okay to be like reserved, but then you probably don't want to be on reality TV. One thing that I really enjoyed though is Jephte and Shawniece really, love kids. They've always been very open about wanting to have them. Jephte really focused a lot on loving his daughter, which is such a beautiful thing. But he focused a lot on loving his daughter and her being the most important thing. And, at one point I had thought he was talking about Shawniece, but then he referred to her coming. So then I was like, oh, he's talking about his daughter. But it was a little concerning for me to hear how he spoke of his daughter, but I didn't really get that vibe about how he spoke regarding Shawniece. Not to say he doesn't feel that way about her, but he doesn't communicate that as effortlessly as he does his daughter, And so I loved that Pastor Cal pointed that out in that moment and said, it's amazing that you want to be such an amazing father and that you love your daughter, but recognize that, your wife is a part of your daughter. Your daughter has your wife in her. And so don't make working out this marriage about, your daughter. Make it because you want to, and your daughter's an extension of that. So really value the experience of being a great husband as well as a great father. And I was just like, oh my God, this is why he's so great. Because as Jephte was talking in that moment about, his daughter, that's exactly what I was saying, how it's really important. Your daughter's not here without your wife. And so if you still want to be with her, which Jephte says that, they're working on, rebuilding their marriage. They separated for a little while after the cameras and after all these things weren't working out. And so now they're finding their way back to each other. Shawniece is just, Shawniece is a naturally emotional person anyways, but she's really emotional about it. And that she's here. She probably just doesn't really know what to do. And we find Jephte still kind of struggling to communicate, which not much has changed since we've seen him last. So I love that the experts are here. I hope that they not only do the couples thing, whether it's the man and the woman together or all the couples together and they do the group thing, but I hope I see some individual touches, because I was just thinking, man, that would be a great time for Pastor Cal to take Jephte aside and say, this is what you need to do, or these are the things you need to work on that can help you just as a man. And when you work and you do your individual work, it extends to other people. Yes, you want to work on your relationship, but if you work on yourself, then your relationship bears the fruit of the work, bears the fruit of the seed that you've sown within yourself. So it's really important just to do that self-work, not to rush and do it in a relationship. So I thought it was really great to see that. I'm excited to see how things develop and just, watch and learn. This is a new aspect. This is a new branch of things. And I think it's great that they're showing this. They're showing that it can work out. And they're showing that there's still things to be worked out beyond marriage. And that is probably the most realistic thing. We get excited about the wedding. We get excited about marriage. And we don't really get to see, which of course you don't, but you don't really get to see what goes on after it's all said and done, after everybody leaves, after the party's over, and now it's back to work in real life, real time. There's still struggles and there's still aspects to learn and grow. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. I hope you guys are enjoying this episode and this review. Let me know what you guys thought. I really enjoyed the show. Let me know what you guys thought. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I'll answer them down below. And I will see you next week for not season 2, but episode 2. Everyone have a great week.